Hey, what's up, y'all? I am back yet again with another video in the same day. Yay for me. But anyway, with that being said, I did want to do a video on being saved yet still human. I think it's really important for me to drop a video on here about that, because a lot of people hear that I'm saved or hear that I believe in God or whatever the case may be. I go to church, I'm a Christian, whatever the case may be, and then they automatically assume how I'm supposed to live my life, how I'm supposed to talk, walk, act, think, believe, and whatever else. But truth of the matter is, I break a lot of those characteristics. I break a lot of, judgments. I break a lot of, rights, wrongs, or, holier than thou, or whatever the case may be, because at the end of the day, just like you, I bleed. Just like you, I have feelings. Just like you, I have emotions. Just like you, I have some things that I want to do. Just like you, I'm still trying to figure out life, and it comes with trial and error. No matter what you believe in and who you got with you, like, you still have those moments where you might not be as disciplined, you may fall short, you may do some things that you normally shouldn't do, or whatever the case may be, considering the fact of whatever it is that you choose is right or wrong. So for me, for those that are wondering, yes, I believe in God. Do I believe I should be categorized as a Christian? If that's what you want to put it as for a box, so be it. But for me personally, I'm just a believer. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it don't, it don't. We can agree to disagree, but I don't feel like one thing is perfect and better than the other. I don't feel like one religion is better than the other. I feel like we really shouldn't have a such thing as religion, but so be it. Everybody feels like they want a place to be accepted, so they take their stuff out of one box to put their stuff in a whole other box, which makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. But for me personally, I don't put myself in a box, because at the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm the ideal this, that, and the third, or an example, or perfect mentor, or person to look for when it comes to certain things. I feel like I'm a work in progress, just like anybody else. And I think that once we start looking at people for being human and not being a specific religion, or having a specific belief system, or being of a specific background, or whatever the case may be, then things would work a little bit smoother, and people would have a little bit more empathy and sympathy for other people, because they would understand that just like you, things happen in life. Just like you, I go through things. Just like you, I think certain things, I want to react certain ways, but the only difference between me and somebody else is how I choose to show whatever it is that I believe is true, what I stand on, my foundation, and what it is that I lean toward when things aren't what they're supposed to be, or even if they are, what I gravitate toward to keep me going, or motivated, or whatever, encouraged, or however you want to explain that. And so I want to say, first and foremost, like I said, we're all human. It doesn't, just because you're a specific religion, background, gender, color, shape, size, height, or any of that stuff, or belief, or religion, or whatever the case may be, that does not stop you from being human. I don't care if you want to identify as an alien, a dog, a cat, a girl, boy, it, them, he, she, their, whatever. You still, at the end of the day, are classified as a human. You have characteristics as a human, so they're going to classify you as a human, okay? And so what that means is you have a mind, will, or emotions. You have feelings. You have thoughts. You have, things that make you mad, things that make you happy, things that, don't really rub you the right way. You get offended, you have an opinion. You have things that make you tick. You have things that make you happy. You have things that if this one thing happens, I'm gonna fall apart, and you have those that are around you that help impact what it is that you do with what you believe. And so for me, knowing that other people are similar to me, understanding that they go through things just like I do. I don't exclude myself from any of that, and I don't feel like people should exclude me from any of that. Just because I'm saved does not mean that I don't face the same things that you face. There are people who are in and out of church that experience depression. There are people that are in and out of church that experience, suicidal thoughts or miscarriages or rape or molestation or, cursing or, lying or, people that go to jail, or people who become murderers, people who have sinned, people who identify as something else, some people that pray or don't pray. Like, that's in and out of church. That has nothing to do with the physical building. So I think that a lot of people misconstrue the building for the mindset that a person is supposed to have, or the building for, the way a person's supposed to act, or their personality, or how they're supposed to look, how they're supposed to dress. And I think that when people take the word church out of it and stop saying, oh, you're a church person, or you're a church girl, or church guy, or woman, or man, or whatever the case may be, so you got to do this, or you're a pastor's daughter, or you're a pastor's wife, or you're a deacon, or you're a youth minister, or whatever the case may be, all these titles that we throw around, and start with, we're human first. You feel like I feel, you bleed like I bleed, and there's nothing different about that. We might not bleed the same way, or might not even bleed to the same capacity, but at the end of the day, when we both bleed, it's both red on both sides. So I mean, regardless of whether we like to understand that fact or not, we both bleed the same way. It might not be to the same capacity, and it might not be from the same things, but we both get hurt by things in life. We both have plans. We both have goals. We both, want to do things in life. We both have gifts and talents. We both have the ability to make choices. We both have the ability to go to heaven and hell. We both have the ability to identify as one thing or another. We both have the ability to get wisdom for ourselves. We have the ability to go through heartbreaks and heartaches and dealing with some of the harsher realities in life. But we also have, the option to do, some of the more positive things as well. And that doesn't mean that because you don't identify with a certain religion or belief system that you're not a human being. Like, you were born without even having a religious background when you were born. You were born without even having a belief system, or knowing certain things or understanding certain things when you were born. Certain things we learn along the way. We're taught. We're shown how to do certain things. So nobody's just born out the gate a Christian. Nobody's born out the gate Muslim. Nobody's born out the gate these different things that we identify with. And at the end of the day, I think that we need to take a step back and understand that we're all born human and identify with that first. And I think that helps us connect with people a little bit better than the race, the religion, the gender, the age, the zodiac signs, and all the other mess. I think that identifying as human first, saying that, you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and, a heart, and this, that, and the third, things that somebody that looks like you, walk like you, talk like you, breathe like you has too. And so now you can say, since I can see from that perspective of just knowing the simple basic necessities that we have as beings here on earth, then I can say, I can understand how that might hurt. I can understand how that may make you feel. I can understand how you might go wrong because I've been through it. And so that's first and foremost. But also, secondly, just because your spirit, has a change or whatever, that does not change the fact that your flesh is still the same. No matter how much we, take care of our spirit, no matter how much work we do to the inside of us, the outside is not the same. And so when it comes to that, you have to understand, just because somebody is baptized or saved or renewed the right spirit in them, they pray, they, believe in God, they speak in tongues, they do this, they do that, they go to a specific building. At the end of the day, they still go back out in the regular world like everybody else, dealing with the same things. Like, just because you change does not mean the things around you change. So it's easy to go back to what you just came from and do those same things because You're used to that. It's easy to do. It's easy to, walk like that, talk like that, breathe like that, act like that, because you're used to it. You've done it for so long, so it's easy to say that's just me, that's just who I am, that's just what I do. And for people to just be like, yep, that's just what it is. And so when it is that you get saved, you are making that decision to say, even though I know all of that, I'm choosing to not necessarily deny all that, because it comes with progression. You learn, you grow, but also sometimes you do fall back. Sometimes you do, go back to what's familiar, and it happens. Just because you know better doesn't necessarily mean you always do better, because what you used to do is something that's familiar. It's comfortable. It doesn't cause you to do anything other than what you've been doing. You already know the result. You already know the outcome. You already know, if I put these two things together, I'm gonna get this, and it's a no-brainer. But it's the unknown that scares people, and so it's not that many people wanting to do, what they've never done before and get that unknown result, because it's easier living life knowing what's going to happen. It's easier in life to do the things that, I've always been doing. Why would I want to do something different? I know at least I have that safety net that if this happens this way, I already know that I did this, and this. But because we can't put an equation by it, then that's when we start getting confused and frustrated and less patient and all of those different things that, just like, a person that is a believer still has those same things. It does not change just because we are a believer now. We still go through those same things where it's like, bro, you're asking me to do this, and I could have really just did that and been done with it. Like, I've been doing it this way, bro. I could have just did it that way. And it's one of those situations where you have to take that whole, I know how to do it, I got me, I got this, and, me, myself, and I thing out of the equation when it comes to being a believer, and really saying, you know what, because I choose to be a believer of you, I'm going to follow you no matter what that entails, no matter, how that makes me feel, no matter whether I agree or disagree, no matter whether other people like it or whether I even like it at sometimes. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to wherever I'm supposed to go in life. And that's literally the only difference between you and the next person. And any of that other stuff is irrelevant. Whether or not somebody's going to heaven or hell, that's irrelevant. You can be, as saved as you want to be and go to hell. We do not make those decisions. We do not make, and I'm gonna say this again, we do not make those decisions. And I hate when people try to make those judgments for people, or pass those judgments for people because they look a certain way, because they dress a certain way, because they like a certain person, or because they do certain things, that everything is, you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to heaven, you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to heaven. How do you know? Who died and left you in charge? Well, last time I checked, if you do your research and if you do your reading for yourself, have your experiences for yourself, have your conversations with God for yourself, you will find out that He is the only one that knows, because He's the only one that planned this thing out. So how is a person that never planned this thing out, never even knew half the pieces to the puzzle, gonna tell you the whole picture? Not gonna happen. Sorry, Grams. Sorry, Grandpa. Sorry, Mom, Dad, Uncle, Aunt, sister, brother, cousin, Tracy, pastor, pastor's wife, deacon, deaconess, motherboard, or whoever else. You cannot tell somebody that they're going to hell for every little thing that they do that does not fit your bubble, fit your description, fit your religion, fits your belief system. That's not how that works. You're just in a position where you learned about that, you learned about this, and you're able to share that with people. And if they agree, so be it. But if they don't, so be it. Like, there is no hidden agenda behind that. You just share what you know about something, and you allow people to apply it or not apply it, take it or leave it. That's not for you to sit there and pass judgment on people. Because at the end of the day, you never know. They might change their life around tomorrow. They might change their life around 55 years from now. You don't know. They have time to change. They have time to repent. They have time to get it right. They have time to figure it out. They have time to get that connection. They have time to get connected to the source. They have time to, experience God for themselves. They have time. So don't sit here and make it seem like it's either today or tomorrow that they get saved. Like, yes, is of the essence, because we don't know when it's going to happen and where it's going to happen, and, you know, how soon or how late it's going to happen. But so we're trying to fight against the clock because we don't know how much longer we have. So we want to tell as many people as we can, and we want to help as many people as we can. But understand, you cannot help a person that doesn't want to be helped. You cannot teach a person that doesn't want to learn. You can't give to a person that doesn't want to receive. And that's okay. That doesn't make them a good or a bad person. That just means they don't want what you got. And that's okay. Stop making people villains because they don't want to receive things that you received. That might not be their cup of tea. That might not be something they want to receive. But that doesn't make them, that doesn't mean they're going to hell because they didn't receive what you received the way that you received it. Trust me, times change. The way that people worship, the way that people praise, the way that people pray, the way that people, experience the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit, however you want to put that, the way that people want to get baptized, the way that people, want to receive God or Christ or Jesus or whoever they believe in. Things have changed. Wisdom has changed. Understanding has changed. The way people see things have changed. The way people experience things have changed. And so that plays a role into their perspective, and let that be their thing. Don't beat them up with the Bible every chance you get. Don't beat them with the Quran every chance you get. Don't beat them, with all of these different sources that you choose to have because you feel like your way or the highway. That's not how it's supposed to go. Yes, we can all coexist and believe in completely different things. That is, do your thing. Because at the end of the day, everybody experiences things different. Everybody sees things different. Everybody has different opinions. Everybody, understands differently, and that's okay. That doesn't make one person right or wrong. That doesn't make one person perfect. That doesn't make one person going to hell and one person going to heaven. Because at the end of the day, if you know, like I know, you understand that when it comes down to the end, he's not asking you about what everybody else thinks or what everybody else does or what everybody else says or what everybody else knows. He's asking you about you, to account for you. He don't care about what mom, dad, grandma, grandpa did, sister did, auntie did, cousin Tracy, or the church did, or the church people did, or the praise and worship people did, or the pastor that hurt your feelings, or that the mother is that hurt your feelings. He don't care about none of that. He don't care about that Bible that you read that you feel like it's missing chapters or it's missing pages or it's missing stories or whatever. He don't care about none of that. He cares about the fact that, what did you do with your time here? Okay? And when you did this with your time, did it really make you the person that I've created you to be, and all that and more? And did you use your time wisely? Or were you just doing stuff? Did you walk in purpose? Meaning, did you walk with me? Did you talk with me? Did you praise me? Did you worship me? Did you spend time with me? Did you share that with somebody else? Did you have trial and error and learn from that? And did you give that information back to somebody else? Did you leave that for somebody else? Did you grow at all? Did you evolve at all? Did you build relationship with others or not? Did you do something with your gift or not? Did you do something with the mind I gave you, the heart that I gave you, the body that I gave you? Did you do something with the mouth that I gave you to be able to speak to things, or speak against the things that aren't necessarily for you, and speak into those things that aren't necessarily for you? Like, did you do those things? I don't care about all that. I don't care if you're a certain color, a certain age, a certain gender, a certain belief system. What did you do with what I gave you? What is your understanding about what I gave you, and what did you do with it? Did you tarnish it, or did you make it better? Did you take value into the life that I have given you? Did you take value into the people that I surrounded you around? Did you take value into the things that I allowed you to borrow with the time that you were here? Those things are the important things. Not who you pray to, not who you pray for, who you pray with, not, what you pray about. Not even, if you pray with your eyes closed, or if you pray with them open, if you pray on your knees, or if you pray standing up eating ice cream. Like, you don't care about them specifics. Those are things that we care about. Why? Because we're always trying to please somebody else. We're always trying to look better than the next person. We're always in competition with somebody else. For what? If he don't care about that, why do we care about that? If he don't care about whether or not they change today or change tomorrow, he just cares that they change at all. And you sitting here like, well, they're gay today. They might not be tomorrow. They might have a life switch 2 days from now. Like, that's not for you to judge. That's not for you to pass judgment on. And it even says that if you read the same Bible that you claim that you read. It even says that we're not here to judge each other. We're not here to tell each other whether we're going to heaven or hell. We're just here to learn about heaven and hell and to share that with other people. We're here to learn that we have a belief system. What do we do with it? And what is it that we believe in? Simple. It has nothing to do with what you wear, what you got on, what you smell like, what you act like. All of that is irrelevant. And I don't know why we focus on those things. You will never get to get the fullness of somebody's story only basing it off of what the outside of their book looks like, because it's not paperback, because it's hard book, because it's an ebook, because it's, a chapter book, because it's a children's book. That's what we care about. So, and I've learned this, I've learned that, so I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, I'm, more equipped than you, I'm more spiritual than you. So, because at the end of the day, he ain't asking me about you. So I'm not doing anything to please you. I'm doing it to please him. And if I don't see an issue wrong with what I'm doing, why do you have an issue? It's my life. It's my body. It's my mouth. It's my mind. If I'm destroying it, so be it. It is not affecting you. If I am not killing, stealing, and destroying what you have to do what I need to do, mind your business. I don't care that and especially to the older generation that is worried about how long somebody's skirt is. Ma'am, do you see my butt cheek? No? Okay. Does it matter? Doesn't come past my kneecaps? As long as I am crossing my legs so you don't see everything in there, then mind your business, Grams. Because I wear tennis shoes to church, ma'am, and you wear heels, maybe I want to be comfortable. He said, come as you are. I might not have heels. I might not have the feet for heels. He might not have a suit. He might not have a haircut today. And you think that his worship is going to change based on what he got going on? Do you think their prayer life is going to change based on who they like? Do you think that their belief system is going to change based on, who they choose to be around today? No. So why do you care? So all this whole a person that's saved, I'm better than you. No, you're not. You go through things just like they do. You're supposed to do these things with help now. So with this help, you should be doing better, not worse than what you were doing before. Because now you have help. Now you don't have to, cry alone. Now you don't have to deal with things alone. Now you don't have to fight things alone. Now you don't have to address things alone. Now you don't even have to speak by yourself. You can have the help from the Holy Spirit that rests, rules, and abides in your life. Now you can allow that to trump what you really want to do, what you really want to say, what you really want to go act out, what you really want to wear today. That's what should happen. Why? Because you're allowing something that's bigger than you to help you out. Somebody that's already figured this thing out to help you out. Because you ain't been here before. You didn't create you. As much as we love to, give kudos to ourselves for being self-made, babe, you're not self-made. Nothing that you're doing or nothing that you will do in the future is not something that has never been done before. You're not going to be the first or the last. Trust me. They were speaking on these things in the Bible way before you even thought of. And you're upset because they're giving you a history lesson? To you, it might be a little dramatic and extreme. But babe, you weren't alive, so you don't know exactly what was going on. So that here is a resource, a source to help you hear about or learn about or understand about, where you come from and things that happened before you. So you understand that you're not the first one dealing with this. That's what that is for. It is not for you to, criticize other people with. It is not for you to pick and choose and be selective of how you say this and how you say that and how you give this information to somebody and how you give it to the next person. That's not what that's for. It is a history lesson for all of us, not just for one or two of us. It's for all of us. Regardless of whether you understand it or not, it's history, babe. Just like the history book in school, we believe that, we understand that. And guess what? We wrote that. Man wrote that. And for those that are going to come for me in the comments, well, man wrote the Bible? Absolutely. The men that we have never even met before, our ancestors, they wrote that. The people that have walked with him, talked with him, and been able to gaze on him and see what he looks like, and experience his personality, and experience his leadership, and experience him, also having to do the same thing that we're doing. Him being the first to do it. And people sharing that information with us. And for us to be sitting here being like, I don't like the way that's written. It wasn't for you to like. Guess what? It's written in all types of translations. For those that don't like it in one translation, boo, it's written in other translations. And for those that be like, well, that was written for a certain kind. Well, babe, that's why it's written in so many different languages that it doesn't matter what kind reads it. They still can get something from it. No matter where you go, it's placed there. Like, if it didn't have any importance, it wouldn't be in certain places. It's in hotels. It's in hospitals. Why would it be there? If it's not important, why would it be there? If it's not important, why would they have even written it in the first place? Just like our history books. We read those. We teach our children those. So, this is not like a spiritual lesson or anything, but like I said, it's just for me to help those understand that may not think like me, believe like me, pray to the same person, worship the same way, or whatever the case may be, to understand that I don't do this. It's not an act. It's not a show. It's not a, double life. It's not a gimmick or anything. I do this because this is what I believe I should do. Not what somebody told me I should do. Not what somebody told me I should say or should pray or whatever. I do the things that are filtered through God himself. His spirit resting, ruling, and abiding in my life, telling me, hey, yeah, that's for you. Hey, yeah, nope, not that. This, yeah, that, So, whatever you believe in your heart to be true, so be it. But you cannot force that onto somebody else. And that's for people who believe and don't believe. If you don't believe, if you believe in science till the wheels fall out, cool. Believe in science till the wheels fall off. But make sure you're reading all the science books you can then. If that's what you feel like you get your wisdom and your hope and your encouragement from, read it till the wheels fall off. But if you're a person that feels like, hey, this is what I read, I'm not into science, but I'm into this, and that's what you want to do, cool. But let that be your thing, though. You can share it with people, but you do not have to force it to people. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe, regardless of who you are telling it to them. I don't care your status. I don't care, how much money you make. I don't care what platform you're on sharing that information. If they want to take it, they will. But at least you gave the information that you could while you were here. So that's literally all I do as a person that believes. I share with other people what it is that I experience, while I'm on my journey. I share what it is that, I think works for me. And if somebody chooses to do that, so be it. I'm not here to force you. I'm not here to tell you what your God says is wrong. I'm not here to tell you that your God is wrong. If that's what you believe, okay, who am I to tell you any other thing? You experienced that, I didn't, so I can't take that experience away from you. So allow people to experience things for themselves, but also stop filtering certain things out so that people can't get the real experience. Stop saying, oh, this isn't right, this isn't wrong, because this is my experience. That's just your experience, babe. They weren't raised like you. They didn't go to the same church you went to. They didn't listen to the same pastor you listened to. They might not have heard that part. They might not have understood that part. And that's okay. That's not your job to force them to understand that. It's your job to share what you can And guess what? Move on. And if you can't, find somebody else that will listen. Find one person that will listen. Let them share it with somebody else that will listen to them, and let it keep being the cycle that has never been broken. Stop spending your time on people that it's not even worth spending time on. So yes, I'm a person that believes in God. Yes, I'm a person that prays. Yes, I'm a person that goes to a physical building to have a service so that two or three can touch and agree. Sorry, I gotta get it together. 2 or 3 can touch and agree, and bring God glory, but also so that, you know, I can get more wisdom from those that understand just like I understand. And if you're a person that feels like the place where you go to get your understanding doesn't really work for you, find somewhere else. Point blank, period. And even if you're a person that's like, well, I don't go to a physical building to get my information. Okay, cool. That's fine. Do your thing. Nobody's knocking you for that. But I do feel like at some point in time, you're going to have to get around with other people that understand, that believe, that speak, that walk, that talk just like you, so that you can feel like you're not doing this alone. Because that's what happens when we isolate ourselves away from other people that are just like us, to put ourselves in another box that makes us unqualified for something else, like for no reason. You cannot like what they like to the same extent. You cannot want to do what they do and still have the same understanding. It happens. I'm sure there's probably like 55 million different Christians. So, and just because this person says they're a Christian, and just because this person says they're a Christian, and they live total different lives, that just means they have 2 different belief systems, and that's normal. What you believe might not be what I believe, which is why you have people who do fake it, because they really don't believe. They just want to fit in with this group because it seems cool at the time. The grass is greener over here, so I want to go over there. But do we still experience things to the same extent? Absolutely. And honestly, if not worse. Because we're at that place where we ought to know better. So we should be doing better. So for you to know better and not to do better, it's called ignorance. Point blank, period. It's called ignorance. For you to know better and still not do any better, that's ignorance. And those are the people that a lot of people catch wind of and choose not to do a specific religion or a specific belief or understand a specific God or read a certain book because of how somebody else done it, instead of just having their own experience or just having their own beliefs and sticking with that, regardless of what everybody else has to do that in routine, what their routine looks like when they do that religion. Everything is not for everybody. You might pray, like I said, eating ice cream, standing up with your eyes open. I might pray on my knees in front of my bed. Somebody else might pray in the shower. Does that make their prayer wrong? Absolutely not. Whatever floats their boat. Whatever they are convicted of. Whatever the spirit that rests, rules, and abides in their lives tells them to do, that's what they're doing. Who are you to tell them that's right or wrong? You might not even have the same spirit floating around. You might have a spirit of something else. But that's beyond what I came here to talk about. So don't address me as a specific religion because I believe or do not believe. Address me as human first. If I identify as, India, say what's up, India. Don't say, hey, there's that Christian girl. For what? If something were to happen to me and something were to happen to you, I would cry just like you would cry. If somebody died today, I would cry at the funeral just like you would cry. If I ended up sick, I would be upset just like you're upset. If I was raped, molested, if I was, punched, if I was kicked, if I was jumped, if I was, if I lost some money, if somebody stole something from me, if somebody did something to me, I would feel away just like you feel away. Now, because I'm saved, now I'm supposed to take a beat and think about it first. And then, go on about my way. And then, let God handle it. Because if I do, then I'm going to go back to the same way I've been handling it. And that's the only difference. That's really the only difference. We are choosing to say, nope, not my way. Because if I do it, I know how that's going to result. That's the only difference. I promise you it is. Not how I dress, not how I talk, not how I walk, not how I move. No. Of course, it evolves into a better, mature, a better, more intentional me. But outside of that, I'm no different from you. I put both my pants on one leg at a time, just like you. I brush my teeth with toothpaste and a toothbrush, just like you. I go to sleep and I wake up just like a normal human being. I have nightmares, I have good dreams, I have bad dreams. I have people that cuss me out, I have people that are nice to me. I have blessings, I have karma. I have thoughts of depression sometimes. I deal with suicidal thoughts sometimes. I deal with, feeling ashamed and unworthy. I feel like I don't have love sometimes. I feel like I am loved sometimes. Like, we go through the same stuff, but me having a belief system doesn't change me still having to do things with that belief system to test whether or not I still have it. And that's the one thing I think people don't connect with, is the fact that you are being tested with things every day. And when you have a belief in something, you're being tested every day that's what you choose to believe every day. So if not, have a little bit more remorse for a person like me, not judgment for me. Because at the end of the day, I'm trusting in something higher and better and bigger and badder and the whole nine than me to do something for me, even when I can't even see what's going on. You, on the other hand, you simplify it and make it down to luck, science. You got it great. You have an excuse. You have something that you can just say, that's what it is. Me, on the other hand, I have to literally work this thing out. I actually have to pray this thing out. I have to walk this thing out. I have to faith this thing out. And so do you curse? Absolutely. If you stub your toe hard enough, something might fly out if you're not intentional about addressing the fact that you're hurt. And what are my words that I could use other than those simple words? If you get in a car accident and you get hit hard enough, I'm sure the first word that comes out of your mouth isn't God or Jesus. There are times where I have prayers where they're not all the cutest prayers in the world, where it's literally me and God going back and forth, and I'm like, bro, listen, Linda, listen to me. And he like, no, listen, Linda, listen to me. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. But what I really want to say is, and he like, yeah, but. I'm like, what do you mean, but? Like, this is what's going on. And he like, okay. But what did you say that you were going to do no matter what? And I'm like, you're right. So it's one of those things, even though you're always accused of being better than the next person, or you're always accused of supposing to do better than the next person, or you're supposed to have everything figured out because you are a believer, or whatever the case may be. It's not true. We don't have everything figured out. We don't have skirts a certain size or a certain length. We don't have pants or skirts. We don't have heels or tennis shoes. We don't have, makeup or clean face. Like, it's not one of those situations. That stuff is routine. Those things are taught. Those things are, cultured in. Those things are, society in. Like, those things have nothing to do with what I believe in. Nothing. What I wear to believe in something has nothing to do with that. I can go into church wearing this, I can go into church wearing that, and at the end of the day, I'm still going to have a prayer life at the end of it all. I can like him, her, them, it, they, whatever, and still have a prayer life. So stop thinking that you're better than the next person, that you know it all, that one way is better than the other, because you do have to understand, especially for my people that are of older age that experience life, church, religion, beliefs a certain type of way, you got to understand that we got to experience it for ourselves in the way that it best fits us. So do understand, yeah, that's what worked for you. That's what worked for your mom, your auntie, your grandma, the greats. I got it. But that might not work for your child. Yeah, you can expose them to that, and so they can, make that decision for themselves. But if they choose not to believe the same thing you believe, that does not make them a demon spawned. That does not mean the devil's in there. That just means they simply don't agree with what you say, what you do, how you do it, how you say it, because at the end of the day, it just doesn't work for them. Think about how you're displaying what you're trying to expose them to. If everybody that believes in God always telling somebody they go to hell, do you really think that somebody wants to believe in God because they always think that somebody's going to tell them they're going to hell? Because Miss Nancy is perfect, now I got to be perfect, and that's not realistic. Because you prayed about it today and tomorrow everything's fixed does not mean that's going to work for me. He might have me in a different season than you. So understand those things, but also understand that being saved is a choice. Being human is not a choice. You wake up a human every day. So even though it's my choice to be that believer, it's my choice to believe in that God or a God, it's my choice to believe in a Bible or that Bible, it's my choice to believe in this version of the Bible or that version of the Bible. It's a choice. I made it. Respect my choice. I respect yours in not believing what I believe. I respect yours in understanding that you don't care what I believe. I respect it. I don't agree with it, but I still respect it. Just do the same for other people. You might not agree. You might disagree to agree. But understand that, just be respectful. If they say, hey, don't say that over here, don't say it over there. Don't do that over here, don't do it over there. Do it in your own little world. Do it in your own little circle, in your own home, in your own car, on your side of the fence. You don't have to get disrespectful because people don't do what you do, think how you think, or read how you read, or whatever the case may be. People ask me all the time, so does that mean you listen to secular music? Yeah. You think Christian music is the only thing that's played in my household? No. Is that the only thing out on the shelf? No. So that's not the only thing that I have to listen to. There are things that are not non-secular that I listen to. Trust and believe, I listen to gospel music a lot. But I also have balance in my life as well. So I also listen to the other stuff as well. And again, it's a choice. And when you choose this walk, when you choose this thing called a belief journey, a spiritual journey, a spiritual awakening, a religion, or whatever the case may be, you choose everything that comes along with it. The good, the bad, the ugly, the not so cute. And you get to make that decision every day of your life. So if today you choose to do it and tomorrow, that's on you. But I'm saying yes every day. If you want to be that hot, cold person, do your thing. But understand you're impacting the people who are still trying to figure out whether they want to believe or not. Still trying to figure out if they want to worship your God or their God. Still trying to figure out if there is a God. So stop misusing the word of God. Stop misusing God. Stop misusing, religions, or using scriptures and things of that nature to selectively pick and choose what you want to tolerate, what you don't, who you want to be friends with, who you don't. If that's not you, that's great if grandma and grandpa did it. That's great if everybody else does it that way in your religion. But if that's not authentic to you, you're living a double life. And that's not something that is going to be on the up and up for your religion, if that's what you choose to be. Showing somebody a false way of living. and then go home and do something completely different. If you cuss your kids out, behind closed doors, but in public, you're a saint. What are you showing them? Mommy lives a double life, daddy lives a double life, granny lives a double. That's what you're showing them. Oh, I don't cuss in church, but I cuss out here. You're living a double life. And so for me, when people see me, they see me all day long. I don't switch up for nobody. I don't switch up for no religion. I don't switch up for no God. Like, I'm me 24/8, authentic to me, authentic to what I believe in, authentic to what I think is right and wrong. And I don't force it on anybody else, but I share that that's just what works for me, babe. And that's the difference between me and the next person. I'm not here to teach you religion, boo. You can go to school if you want to learn religion. You can go to school if you want to learn certain specifics about certain things. I ain't no teacher. Like, I do what I do because that's what I'm led to do, or that's what I'm asked to do. But at the end of the day, I don't think that it's my way or the highway. I don't think that I'm the only person that believes this or believes that. I'm open to all types of things. If you want to, light your sage and sage down the house and that works for you and that protects you from all these things, do your thing. I simply say, I just don't do that. That doesn't mean you can't do it. That just means I don't do it. I never had a reason to. Prayer worked just fine for me. If crying works for you, cry till you can't cry no more. I cry. If you choose not to cry, that doesn't make you any harder or any less or any better as a person than me because you cry or you don't cry. Like, it's just life. People feel like they do what they want to do, and that's cool. And so, again, when it comes to being saved yet still human, understand I'm operating as a human 24/8, but I am choosing to, as I operate as a human, have the realest part in me be convicted of doing or not doing certain things so that I can be in tune with, be in alignment with the spirit that's in me, that is trumping my flesh. That even though I'm human and I know how to do it this way, even though I'm human and I have the ability to do this, and this, or move like that, and that, or feel like this, and this, I don't always have to react on it. I don't always have to act on it. I don't always have to speak on it. I don't always have to move on it. I don't always have to think on it. I don't always have to feel on it. Because I already did that. I already know how that works. So let me try it a different way because I've done it my way before. I like help. I like, instead of carrying all the bags in the car to the house, I like having help. So I'm not out here looking crazy because I want to do everything myself. I want to have complete and total control over everything. Do your thing. If you want to be a control freak over everything in your life, let me know how that works. Let me know. Because even strong friends break. Even the strongest of the strongest, even the toughest soldiers have their breakdowns and have their moments when enough is enough. And that's the only difference between being saved and human. Is that at the end of the day, as a person that is human, I can admit that it becomes too much, and it's way more than it's more than my pay grade. So let somebody that's part of their job description and that's part of what they do, let me ask them to be in here and help me. So whenever it is that I need it, it's there. I don't have to tamper with any crystal, any specific crystals or sage or rocks and dirt and fairy dust and all of other stuff. Like, if that works for you, hey, do your thing, boo. I just don't. The person that I believe in, he said, I'm good with him, and I trust that I'm good with him, and I've been walking with him ever since. I ain't sage nothing, I ain't crystal nothing, I don't wear no specific necklace or symbol or no moons or no stars, and I don't put no specific colors or pictures or, none of, like, I don't do all that stuff. But if it works for you, don't let me stop you. Because again, I'm human just like you. I understand that you have to try some things first. You have to work some things out on your own. You have to deal with trial and error first. And it takes time to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So if that's working for you right now, do your thing. When it stops working and you find something else, still do your thing. But just stand 10 toes on what that is. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you're doing. Because I'm not going to get you into heaven or hell. You are. So whatever you do, let that be what you do. Whatever you believe, let that be what you believe. And don't let nobody else tell you different. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether they tell you till they're blue in the face, and whether they help you, whether they pray for you, whether they worship with you, whether it is that they go to church with you, whether it is they do devotional with you, whatever, that is not going to account for you when it comes down to it. So understand that I don't care what you do, what you believe, how you show up in the world, how you don't show up in the world, how you show up in life in general. Just make sure that you understand that it is not a debate between you or him or her or her. It is a debate between the old you and the new you. Meaning that you doing it your way. That gives out, that burns out. Then you realize, now I want to do it God's way. That never burns out, that never gives out. I promise you. You might burn out of fighting against it. You might burn out of praying against that gift that you got. You might fight against trying to be against certain people because at the end of the day, they can't go with you, but you want them to go with you, and they fight you every single day because you want to force something that is never supposed to be. And that's your thing. But for me and me, that's just what works. But does that make me better than the next person? No. Does that make me any more qualified than the next person? No. Does that mean I'm going to heaven or hell? No. It has the ability to change at any point in life when I decide to change and make different decisions every day. So just be aware that when you're accountable for that, all the other stuff is irrelevant. What you wear is irrelevant to what I wear. What I say is irrelevant to what you say. Like, do what works for you. If that's the routine you want to follow, do your thing. But for me over here, I do what works, that authentically works for me. Point blank period. I'm just a person that's saved doing it. Meaning I'm just a person with help that's doing it. It doesn't mean I'm speaking in tongues today. It doesn't mean that I'm holier than thou today. It doesn't mean I'm turning the water into wine the next day. Like, it doesn't mean none of that. It just means I have help doing whatever I need to do in this life that God has created for me. And I'm acknowledging that He created it. And that in order for me to get around in this thing, I'm going to need His help because He already got a blueprint for it. Why not ask the manufacturer for help? Why would I take a Honda car to Ford? If Honda made it for me, I need to take it back to Honda, not Jim Smo to fix this. And over time, I'm going to need to go get this fixed because he fixed this and now I messed up that. That's my point. So instead of looking to different people and different gods and different things, look to the thing and the person or the place or whatever works for you. If you feel like that's your manufacturer, do your thing. If science is your manufacturer, look to science when it comes to life. If you feel like rocks and sage and dust and dirt and candles and whatever else works for you, look to that for help. You feel like if you rub these two crystals together and it'll, bless you for eternity. Rub them together as hard as you can for the rest of your life. Then I guess I don't. And I'm not knocking you for it. Do your thing. I'm just saying I just don't do that. That doesn't mean you can't. I'm a person that believes in God, and yes, I have a tattoo. Tattoos might not be your thing. You might feel like you're convicted not to get a tattoo. Don't get a tattoo. But that doesn't make me wrong because I decided to do that. You didn't have to pay for it. It ain't your skin. Don't worry about it. You might feel like, you know what? Let me cover up a little bit more than the next woman. That's just what you chose to do. I mean, respect plays a role into it, but outside of that, like, what she wears, what she wears. What he wears, what he wears. So he can't pray, or he can't praise, or he can't worship, or he can't, receive God because he got on a baseball cap. And like, so I mean, that's all I have to say. Hopefully this is helpful for somebody that is wondering if there's a whole lot that changes when you become saved. Are you still human? Absolutely. That doesn't change regardless. You're still going to be that. So if you're feeling like because I do this, this is going to change me from not being human anymore, I'm not going to have feelings, I'm not going to want to react, I'm not going to want to act out, I'm not going to want to cuss anymore, I'm not going to, want to have sex, I'm not going to want to, sin, I'm not going to want to do all these things, babe. Even on your better days, you are still going to have moments where those things might come up and might be tempting to you. You just choose whether or not you put yourself in those situations. And if those situations show up, how you want to move forward with that. That is completely on you. And guess what? The thing about choices is you get to make one every day. So if you choose to be this religion today and you don't want to be that tomorrow, golly, choose another one. If you feel like science don't work for you today, and tomorrow you want to be a Buddhist, golly, figure out whatever it takes to be a Buddhist and do that till the wheels fall off. If it ain't authentic to you and you figure out you want to do something else, find something else that works. That's the great thing about life. We can always find something that works and do that. But make sure it works for you, not just because it works for everybody else. Because what works for everybody else might not work for you. But understand that doesn't make you any better or any less than a person or any better than a person because of what you chose. Because we all have choices. Make one. So, that's it. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all I got for you guys. And hopefully this helps somebody make a choice if they're choosing to make a choice. Hopefully this empowers somebody that has already made the choice. Hopefully this helps somebody who doesn't even know if they care about the choice. But share this with those that don't understand what it's like to be a believer or a non-believer. Share this with people who have judged you as a believer, thinking that your life is supposed to be perfect and you're never going to fail at things, you're never going to go through things, and that everything is all peaches and creams over here. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's not one way or the other, peaches and cream. We're both going to go through things because life is going to life for everybody. It's going to roll out the lemons for everybody. What you use to make your lemonade, what you choose to make out of the lemons you're given, if you decide to make lime juice with that, I don't know how you're going to do it, but if that's what you want to make with that, so be it. If you want to make pink lemonade today, do your thing. But for me, like I said, I'm choosing to own the fact that I'm not perfect. I'm choosing to own the fact that I am a believer, and that doesn't make me any better or less than a person. I own the fact that I'm going to make mistakes, and I don't beat myself up for it because other people will anyway. I own the fact that everybody's not going to agree with me. I own that everybody's not going to read their Bible. I own that the Bible is not for everybody, if that's what they choose. But understand, again, You have to do your research. You have to get your wisdom. You have to have your experience before you make those decisions. Stop basing your choices based on somebody else's choice or their routine or their schedule or their situation or their circumstances or, how they move. Because guess what? Everything looks peaches and cream at first. Everything, you fall in love with the idea of something being better than what you already got at first. Everybody goes through that puppy dog phase where everything's cool. You're fitting in because you're doing what they're doing. It happens. They're glad to get somebody else inducted, okay? But at some point in time, you're going to realize, like, no matter what religion, no matter what you do or how you do it, somebody's always going to be pissed. So just understand that no matter what you do and how you do it, somebody's always going to have an opinion. Thank God they don't pay everybody for their opinion. Only the people that do enough work on their job to get paid for their opinion. And even them, sometimes they have to find somebody else to pay for a different opinion. So, nobody's opinion is law. Again, the Bible is there for you to learn your history. Whether you feel like it's your history, their history, her history, or mom's history. But it is a history book. You take what you need to take from it. Apply it if you feel like you need to apply it. Understand if you want to understand. Receive if you want to receive. Share it if you want to share it. Otherwise, push it to the side like you do everything else that you're not interested in and find you something else you're interested in. Point blank, period. And that, my friend, is what the difference is with being saved and human. Not too much of a difference. You still do the same stuff. You still go to the same places. Maybe you choose not to go there anymore. Maybe you choose to go somewhere else. But at the same time, both sides of the pros and cons, neither one of them is full of pros or full of cons. Understand that. Love your life. Do what works for you. And until next time, peace.